Welcome, everybody. This is another authentic conversation. I'm your host, Adele Bernard, and we are going to share a little bit about what Transition Clarity does on the show, first off, and then we will get into our guest speaker. So, what do we do at Transition Clarity? We help people through the choice points in life to, like, from divorce, from losing a um, losing a loved one. Oh, you got the dreaded pink slip, or you just want more in life. It's all about connecting back to who you really want to be and who you're here to be. And so, with that, I'm going to introduce our guest today, and her name is Kimberly Diaz. She is a registered nurse, dementia, and end of life expert who helps families navigate some of the most difficult journeys. Through her work, she brings clarity, compassion, and direction when everything feels uncertain. I don't just help families understand dementia, I walk them through the entire journey, including the parts most people are afraid to talk about, like end of life, because avoid those conversations. We often lose the opportunity to create things meaningful and intentional. And with that, let's bring Kimberly to the show. And here she is. Welcome to the show, Kimberly.
Oh, hello, hello.
So, in your own words, I've done the preview. In your own words, how did you end up in the looking after people in dementia, just having those kind of clients? What drew you to that? Because it's not something that everyone's going to go, pick me, pick me.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Um, it was really my grandparents, my grandmother. I watched her my entire life take care of my grandfather. None of them had, neither one of them had dementia, but she was definitely a caregiver. And she was the first real adult in my life. My parents had me very young, so I spent a lot of time with my grandmother. And my grandfather was also a veteran, so spent a lot of time at the VA and around vets, and really from a young age developed just this admiration and this love of the veterans. And then, growing up from there, I realize now I, for many of years, never felt like I had a voice. And that is the connection I feel like I have with people with dementia is they're often shunned or just kind of pushed aside.
mhm.
And that really bothers me. And I've been for the past, 15 years, really devoted to end of life and to those living with dementia and the families that are trying to support them and navigate that and helping them to understand this new language, right, that they're trying to learn.
Mhm.
And it's challenging, it's beautiful, it's when you can, get them to understand what they're going through and kind of have their aha moment. It's just, I look at dementia as just a new way to connect. It's a new language, and oftentimes it's not words anymore, but it's behaviors or it's body language behaviors,
Mhm.
um, or personality changes. That they're trying to tell you something, but they don't have the words to do it anymore.
Mhm.
So we have to learn a new language.
And I understand that because I do some support work with Alzheimer's patients, and it's not really getting them to do the words. It's like for me, I would say, okay, give us give us your favorite Christmas. And they go look at me. It's not Christmas. I go, I don't care what time it is. I want your favorite Christmas. And then they'd start laughing. And sometimes it would be of this time, sometimes it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I just followed them because they're in the joy of the story. If I totally understood what they'd said, sometimes, sometimes not, because their accent would be harsher, or and I'd be like, "Tell me more, tell me more." And I think that's the biggest thing for the kids and grandkids of these patients, of these elders. Don't try to explain where you are. Go
We
into their life. If they ask you what's happening with you, share it, but don't think they're going to remember it.
right. And don't be offended if they don't remember it,
Yeah.
or feel bad about it, or feel bad about them. Um, that they're doing the best that they can, and like you said, meeting them where it can be so much fun, actually.
Hmm.
Just getting curious, and then just I've had clients that are in their 80s, that they're waiting for their dad to come home. Well, that's been back to 1950, but that's where they are today. So let's talk about that. What are you excited about when your dad comes home? And
Yeah.
they just light up.
And you spoke about the vets.
Uh-huh.
How could we, as regular citizens, help our vets more? Because because both countries, I'm Canada, you're US, I think we treat our vets horribly.
We do. We do. I had promised my grandfather when I was very young that I was going to, be a nurse, and I was going to take care of the vet. So my first job was actually at Heinz VA. But it was a horrible experience, I have to say.
Hmm.
They had top of the line computer systems, top of the line this, but could you get a bar of soap to help somebody get cleaned up? Could you get the basic things that they need to help take care of them? I remember I worked 12-hour shifts, and there they had wards too, so there'd be like four guys in a room, where the regular hospital was just one or two. And I remember I had been off for 2 days, and I came back, and I walked into my one of the ward rooms I was in, and the one guy starts clapping. He's like, "The real nurse is back." And I was a young nurse then, so it's like, oh, but just, and then they shared with me some of the things, that the way that they were treated by some of the other staff, and just, come in, give your medicine, do your job, and just go
Yeah.
on your way. But I was truly interested in them, and I am interested in them, and just spending some time and letting them share a story. And unfortunately, our system doesn't give us time to
No.
do that.
No.
I've got, I have a registry for caregivers, and one of the caregivers was a physician in Venezuela. And here he's saving to take his medical boards here. But he told me, he goes, you know what? I was upset initially that I had to be a caregiver. He said, but I am going to be such a better physician now when I get my MD, because he spent time, hours upon hours, one on one. We had a shared client that I had for 4 years that had Parkinson's disease, and just a fabulous man. And, because even in Venezuela, they had like these 15 minutes to see people, and go on your day. So it's kind of like an
Yep.
assembly line. And he said, I never realized what a gift this is actually going to be. I'm going to be so much better as a doctor that I had to go through this. So, sometimes life, we don't understand why we're being put in the situation that we are.
Hmm.
But then sometimes later we're like, all right, I get that now.
Well, and that brings up a different point because I remember going to see my surgeon for my eyes. And, I mean, everyone's been to an eye doctor. You got to be dilated. You got to sit there for 2 hours and waste your time. And you see the doctor for 30 seconds. And I might have been a bit crisp that day when I saw him because I said, "Whoa." He goes, "What?" I said, I'm a human being trying to have a talk with another human being. Hello. And he smiles and he goes, hello. And I go, this is a good start, right? And I said, do you realize, like, we're waiting 2 hours for you? I know it's the process. I understand that. But you walk in, lights are off, and you go straight to seeing in our eyes.
Yeah.
I said, say hello.
Right. There's a person behind those
Yeah,
eyes.
like it's only
Human.
2 seconds longer. And after he said, thank you, I go, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's really funny. So my eyes got better. So I'm like, yay. So I went to his associate, the first meeting with his associate. He comes in, how are you today? How's it going? And I'm like, ooh, he's passing on this knowledge of we're humans.
Yeah.
Just don't put us in, put your face up, look at, right? I understand you're busy. I understand lots of people have problems. But we're also coming to you as a surgeon, trying not to lose our eyesight, right? And so we talked about being better caregivers for those people. And like we said on the pre-call, like not everyone's cut out for that job, right? But it also, as a person who comes in to help, gets a bit frustrated when they're all on their cell phones in their little room,
Yep.
and you're like, you could be just giving them care,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know?
Especially, so I had a client recently that unfortunately she was driving. So some of the caregivers I work with were helping her a few hours a week. I was telling her nephew, who's lived in another state, and the neighbors were telling her, listen, she needs more help. She either needs more caregiving or she needs placements. She's driving up and down the road, back and forth. There's confusion. There's obvious things going on. Of course, he talked to her and she could talk about anything, so he thinks that she was fine. And she wound up driving from Westminster to Littleton, so about 40 minutes away, and got lost. Fortunately, her father, now mind you, she's in her 70s, her father was a police officer. So she had enough wherewithal to go to the police department to say, I'm lost. Can you
Yeah.
help me? So I don't know how much help they were. They put her in the hospital, which, okay, we got her off the roads, we got her safe. Well, that hospital wound up putting her into a godforsaken place in Boulder, that is for crazy people. She's not crazy. She had dementia. So,
They're
and I
saying
was
it's a bad take what you got
yeah, yeah,
because that happens
basically.
everywhere.
And this takes your insurance, right?
Yeah.
And,
Don't forget
and
that part.
and we need to get her out of the hospital because we need to open this bed, right? So it's
Hmm.
turn and burn and turn. And so I finally got the nephew. I tried to get him to let me see her while she was at the hospital. I said, so we can see where she's going to go next. Oh, this place has great reviews. I said, it's lies. This is not great reviews. So her friends went and they were all like on the horn with him. You've got to get her out of here. You've got to get her out of here. So he calls me. He lets me go down there. I walk into this place. Now it's a locked ward, which a lot of memory cares are. That's fine. Well, I
Yep.
hear this woman screaming. Not my client. I hear this other thing screaming. And I'm like, what on earth is going on? She's got this little cactus that talks, right? So she screams at the cactus and it screams back at her. Meantime, people are just walking around like nothing's going on. And I'm like, excuse me, is somebody going to do something about this over here?
Yeah.
What? I said, this is nuts. This is inappropriate. You need to take this thing out. I mean, she's disrupting the whole unit. You could just see everybody on edge as they're screaming, but nobody was even like, didn't even know what was going on. I walk in and I'm like, what on earth? Thankfully, she wound up being there almost 3 weeks, but we got her out of there. But I mean, it's it's shameful, some of the
Yeah.
things that you see. And, nobody was thinking twice about this. Meanwhile, there's all these people that are being affected by this one woman, what's going on with her. And maybe she just needs somebody to sit down and talk to her,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Well, and that's
I
the thing, right? Like that remind I go to see a client and I thought, well, I'll just put my jacket and stuff here. And I'm with the client, and then one of the nurses goes, "Whose stuff is this?" And I said, "Mine." You know this is a dementia ward, right? And I said, "Yeah." You know they're gonna walk away with it, right? And I'm like, "No, because I trust that they know that this isn't theirs." And he looked at me like I was the one that was crazy, right? And I said, "I work in a lot of wards. It's good." When we got up to go walking, did I take my coat with me? Yeah, but I'm
Yeah,
right beside my coat.
yeah, yeah,
If they're going to take it, I think I will stop them before they get away with it. But it was just the way he's like looking at me like I was the one crazy.
yeah.
And then I'm like, I think you've been in this ward too long. Like, I think
Yeah.
you've kind of lost your perspective.
Kind of, yeah, yeah. And the empathy and all of
Yeah.
that just goes out the window.
Well, and I want to go back to the VA hospital because
Yeah.
the few VAs that I've been intermingling with lately, it's like it doesn't matter what they do, it doesn't matter how broken they are, they're not going to get this, they're not going to get the operation, they're not going to get the help, they're not, well, it doesn't matter. And then other ones, it's like, I don't know, you walk on water. You and your family can get anything you want.
Some of the other hospitals, you mean, that aren't the
No,
VA?
just people like that,
Oh,
like say I'm Army and I phone in, I need an operation, and they go, yeah, okay, and they push me aside. Years later, you phone in, oh well, I need this operation. Sure, here's the Four Seasons.
yeah. I don't.
Like
The
it's like this is in healthcare too. It's like, is it an insurance thing? Like, oh, you're A rated, so you get king of the castle, but oh, you're D rated, so you get whatever's left over if we decide to do it.
Well, and sometimes I think it's also looking at their history. Is there mental health issues? Is there? Well, of course there is. If they were in any type of war or even in the military, there's going to be. I
Hmm.
don't know if you saw, and we'll see how that goes, but Trump just signed something so they can start expediting psilocybin therapy because a lot of veterans have been going over to other countries to get treatment with psilocybin to totally cure their PTSD, and it's been very very successful
I
for some
know,
people.
but it's only
So
successful. This is my, this is only my opinion. It's only successful if you have the doctor that's giving the medicine
yeah,
and the therapist
yeah,
working together in the same room for the like,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because say the doctor gives it, goes off and speaks to other patients, only the therapist in there, they lose it.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's how they have a couple of places here in Denver, and that's how it is. You've got a doctor and you've got a
Hmm.
therapist. There's always two people in the room with you.
Yeah, like I
Doing
hope
physical
they do
therapy.
something because it's like um it's crazy how much just everyday life that you and I will never understand, they can't participate in.
Right. Yep.
They think they're participating, but they're not.
Right. And their kids, raising their kids and their kids just being fearful of them or just not, there's never that connection. Um,
Because they never know if you shut the door a bit loud if you're going to set mom or dad off.
yep. And then the incidence of suicide is huge.
Hmm.
Suicide in general is high. I heard that you guys in Canada have a high incidence of suicide in younger, like in their 20s. with
Well,
your
I,
medical aid and dying program from mental.
again, this is just my opinion. um, I think the young are taking their lives because there's really no hope in our country right now.
Yeah.
We're the most expensive country to live in. There's not the proper jobs. Um, they waste more food than they put in the supply chain, and it's just retarded. Like, I just keep on having trust that the right leaders will get in as soon as possible and switch it around. And then also, they're saying, oh, we're up, 23% of enrollment into the services. And you talk to ex-service people, and they go, well, yeah, because everyone's getting in. Well, why are they going into the services? Because they get 3 square meals, whether good
Look,
or bad.
yeah, they're looking for purpose. They're
No,
looking for some
they're
sort of
looking
identity.
for a bed and a roof. It's not even about purpose. There's so many kids on the street, they're just going, I'll go in because I'll get a room. Even if I have to share with 4 people, I'll have a bed or a cot and I'll have food. Whether it's those really bad pancakes,
Yeah,
it doesn't
with all the
matter.
sugars.
Doesn't matter. They want to be off the streets. So
So
is
why
that
are there so many homeless there?
because the cost of living is atrocious. What used to cost 100, $150 is now 400,
Yeah. I mean, there's
right?
definitely here, people in their 30s and 40s still living in mom's basements. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But,
Like it's just
but
it's
yeah, they're living in mom's basement at least.
no, I know, but like you think about like you used to be able to move out from your parents' house and spend 400, 500, $600, say $600 a room, not an apartment, a room.
Right.
That room now is 2,000 and up
Yeah.
with 4 or 5 people in the room in the house, right?
Nuts. And then the jobs, they don't make that type of money to be able to afford stuff
No.
like that.
And then everyone says, "Well, raise the minimum wage." I said, "You
It doesn't
can't."
work. Yeah, that doesn't
Because
work.
even if you raise the minimum wage, say at McDonald's, right?
Then the
So
companies can't afford that.
I know. So you raise the minimum wage, but the customers aren't going to pay the minimum wage fees, and it's like, because it, like, it was. I don't know how I learned this, but I was like, I said, "How much is a Big Mac meal?" And someone goes, "It was like $16 or something."
What?
I said, "For a Big Mac meal, that's crap,
Wow.
right?" Yeah, I think I'll stay with my faux, which is $15.
Well, we've got a friend here that we knew from San Diego. He bought a restaurant here back in 2000. Well, he came here the same time we did, 2016. Very successful restaurant. And we saw him about 6 months ago. And he said, I'm doubling the revenue, well, the amount of money that I'm bringing in, but because I have to pay so much more to my chefs, to my staff, I'm not making any more money than I was 10 years ago, and because of the cost of food and everything else.
But,
And it's like, they can't stay afloat either.
well, I know, but the thing is he should be grateful that he's still open
Yeah.
because how many restaurants just close their doors?
Whenever I see a new restaurant opening, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think that's
Well,
the
and
risk
then
anyone
like
would
as I
take.
walk around the neighborhood every day, I'm like, who can still afford DoorDash and skip the dishes and like,
Yeah.
and usually it's the teenagers at home. I'm hungry. I'll just get DoorDash,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yep.
They have no
My
concept of
youngest,
money.
my youngest daughter, my husband gets these, he just happens to be looking through his credit card statement and he's like, $3,000 for DoorDash. And he's like, what the hell? So he goes and says fraud. And they said, well, we're going to investigate this. And he said, well, please do. So they get back to us. Now we live in we live in Colorado. It's to my daughter's house in Florida. three
Why
thousand
she
dollars.
got access to your husband's credit card?
That's a very good question. When she was here at Christmas time, we were ordered something through like Instacart or
Hmm.
something. And so he said, I'll buy it. Here's my number. And she ordered it. So I think she thought that it was, she's not talking to me anymore, but I think that she thought it was my credit card. Like that's going to make it okay. But $3,000 worth of DoorDash in a month and a half.
But
How insane is that?
that's insane. But how she got 2 months out without being caught is beyond. That's on your husband. Like the first DoorDash should have been,
Well,
I'll
but
let.
he didn't pay attention to the credit. You know what I
No,
mean?
I know.
He
That's what
just
I'm
paid it.
saying.
Then he's like, wait a minute. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But then it's also on your daughter to say, like, well,
Oh
that's
yeah.
theft.
Uh huh. Uh huh. Well, I know now they were supposed to, I think this year or something, and I don't use DoorDash or any of that, so I don't know. If we have any delivery, we just deliver right from the restaurant. We don't use,
Yeah.
any of these services. Um, but I know that now they changed it where they have to show the price of the actual restaurant and then the add-on fees because they don't just charge the delivery fees. It's like if you're using DoorDash, something that might cost you $12 is going to cost you $17, and then plus you've got the extra fees.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, how lazy are you? Like I see people getting milkshakes delivered. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Probably $30 worth of milkshakes for two milkshakes.
Because the parents are paying for it.
Yeah, or
And then,
Starbucks, right?
oh, I
Yeah,
know, but then it's like, um, well, and Starbucks as a whole, like it's all like
yeah,
what they put in food is crazy.
yeah.
But the thing is that it comes back to what we're starting with dementia. Dementia started back
Decades before.
decade like so I was actually talking to a nurse out of England, and she said, you ask the people that you think might be having some dementia, right? These are the first warning signs. What was their favorite book? What was their favorite music? Right? And I said, okay. So I humorly went to my parents and said, what was your favorite book? And they said, whatever. And I go, what was your favorite music? Do you know they both said music before they got together? They've just celebrated their 64th wedding anniversary, and their favorite music was before they met.
Really
And I went, wow, you guys are starting into dementia.
interesting.
The books I didn't even know. Like I had to look them up. Like,
Yeah.
right? And I went, that's insane. You just spent your entire life and your favorite things were before you met.
Yeah.
Right? And then my nephew, who's really into music, he keeps on teasing me because he's like, Auntie, you're still stuck in the 80s. I'll always be stuck in the 80s. It was the best time ever.
I agree 100%.
It was the biggest change in music. It was the
Yep.
biggest change in technology. It was the biggest, right? Every music artist after that has used the 80s. I said,
Yep.
okay, so use Jelly Roll. You love Jelly Roll. Who's he using? God. And oh my God, Johnny Cash. A little bit of 80s.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
70s, 80s.
like
But
I was
like,
telling you, yeah, that's when it hits home is when I, walk into assisted living and the lady yesterday had a Billy Idol t-shirt on. I was like, oh my gosh.
yeah.
But it's, you know, I'm like those old people. I'm like, oh, they're the same age as me, some of them.
Well, and then like I had to take a lady to an appointment. And she's telling me how she's on Ozempic and how it's making her lose weight and this is awesome. So she's getting all these new clothes and I said, awesome. And then we're waiting for the handy bus to come and she sits in at the cafe and orders this huge piece of chocolate cake. And I said, really? I said, you have free will,
Yeah.
but know that you're on Ozempic.
Mhm.
I deserve the chocolate cake. I go, okay. And you could tell that she hasn't had sugar in a while because she basically shoved the whole thing in,
Devoured it.
right? And so she's going to get back. They're going to get, like, it's just, oh my Lord. But I can't, I'm not there as their parent.
Right, right,
I'm there to escort them to the appointment, escort them back, right?
right.
You
Yeah.
know, and,
You're not the police.
no, but I did say, are you sure you
Yeah.
are on Ozempic? But yeah.
Yeah. So she's a diabetic then too.
Oh yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah. It's not my thing because I'm not there to police and control and, you know, um, yeah, it's up to them.
Well, it is. And then, I had one of the caregivers call me yesterday because the client's on Ozempic for his blood sugars. And she's like, but he never wants to eat. She's like, so he's not getting any protein. So she was asking me about, different shakes and stuff that maybe he could get. And I said, you can try it, but they lose their appetite. I'm like, are his sugars under better control? She was talking about how he's weak, and I said, are his sugars getting too low? Is he dehydrated? I said he's probably not drinking enough either.
Yeah.
You lose your appetite, so you just stop eating and drinking. Well, your body can't survive like that.
Well, and they say that the Ozempic is like a beta blocker. Don't quote me on this. It's like a beta blocker. And beta blockers are only supposed to be naturally in your body 3 to 4 hours. Ozempic makes it 7 to 8 days.
Right? So you
So
take a
you're
shot
never
at
going
one
to feel
day.
hungry.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and she said that they're talking about increasing his dose, and I said, well, what's his blood sugar? She goes, about 180. I'm like, so that's still pretty high. But I've been telling the son that because he's trying to make plans for his dad when his long term care, is done. And I said, well, the problem is going to be if he's on sliding scale insulin, he's not going to be able to go to an assisted living or a memory care. He's going to have to go to skilled nursing or long term care because here there's if you're on sliding scale, they're not going to take you anywhere else. If you're on routine insulin, there's a few places that would take you that aren't skilled nursing, which to me, no one wants to go to skilled nursing for long-term care unless you absolutely have to. And so I said, I wonder if that's what they're trying to get a little more aggressive to try to get those, blood sugars more under control. I
But
said, but not if I mean, it's quality of life. If he's feeling so tired that he can't even, function in his old life, is this really what he wants? But has anybody asked him?
I know.
That's the thing. He's got
And
dementia. So has
I don't
anybody
know.
asked him?
Maybe I'm of a different camp. I don't care if you got cancer. I don't care if you got diabetes. I don't care if you have a brain bleed. If you're 80, you had a good life, let me just go in peace. Don't pump me up with all this
Well,
crap.
that's what I'm saying. Has anybody asked him what he wants?
Well,
He
and
wants to be left alone.
I, 2 seasons ago on the podcast, I had a lady who her parents were sound mind. They chose where they wanted to go for retirement. They went in, they liked it, and she went to visit and she says to her sister, Dad's not doing well, right? Like, here's this big, robust man, and he's like going down. And they actually pulled them out of the retirement home, bought a house for them, and brought in 24-hour care. They lasted another 10 and a half years. And
Oh,
they figured her dad was gone in 6 months if they left him there. at
Well,
$15,000 a month.
I was going to say here, 24-hour care is about 25 to 30 grand a month, where you can go into assisted living for about seven.
No, well, they're in Florida at 15,000 in assisted a month.
Oh, in assisted living.
The
Yeah,
house was cheaper.
yeah, yeah. But the caregiving is what gets you. But you know what? It's all
Yeah.
about like this guy too. He wanted to stay at home, so it's like, well, can't we just see how we can support him to do that? You
Yeah.
know, um, I
I
mean,
don't know. Like
maybe I'm.
$15,000 a month is a lot of care. I don't know.
You'd hope
What do
so
I
anyway.
know?
You'd hope so anyway.
But then it's like I had a client on Tuesday that I take walking, and I don't know where you sit on the vaccines or whatever, but I'm just like, I said, "Do you really think you need the shot, the COVID shot with a flu booster
Mm-hmm.
with?" And she says, "Of course I do."
Uh-huh.
I said, "Okay." And as I left, she's in the line to get it, and it broke my heart.
Yeah.
And
Probably shot number six, right?
oh no, I think it's 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And then I phoned later because we went on our walk and she was more tired and I thought, well, it's first sunny day, right? Like,
Yeah.
and so I checked in with her later, which I normally don't. It's not my right.
Yeah.
I checked in with her later. Yeah, I'm not feeling very well. And I said, please drink some more water. I've drank a lot and I said, please drink some more water.
My husband had two COVID shots. Since the second one, he now has pancreatic insufficiency. So now he has to take digestive enzymes at $1,500 a month every time he eats. He did not
I've
have
never
any
heard
issues,
of that.
and he had no issues prior to the COVID vaccinations.
And that's interesting you're saying that as a nurse, like a former nurse.
Yep. And I've got another woman that I helped her with her mom that had dementia. Her husband, he had, I think it was after his first COVID shot, he started having seizures. And he was a truck driver. So it not only changed,
No more trucking.
medically, but his work, I mean, everything, because now he has seizures.
Well, and that was the thing, like with the fight up here with the truck drivers, and people are like, well, we don't want them carrying our produce if they're not. And I go, 98% of them are vaccinated. They just said it was wrong, right? Like, we're truckers. We haul the crap across the country. Let us work,
Right,
you
right.
know? And yeah, it's just, I don't know. All I know is that's in the past, and I just pray that people wake up,
Yeah,
right? And
100%.
okay, I'm gonna
Seniors
get
died
personal for
from
a second.
loneliness. Yeah,
Yeah,
seniors died from loneliness by themselves.
we're all lonely. I'm
Well, I'm just
lonely.
saying, not from COVID. I don't care what they call it.
No, I know, but I'm saying pre-COVID,
Yeah,
I was out with thousands of people every day touring around our country, right? Had anywhere between 20 to 40 people on a bus. Like I'm in the people.
yeah.
To, we're shut down. We'll call you when we're open. I go, well, now what do I do? Staring at my computer screen.
Alcohol sales went up 400%. I
Yeah.
mean, there's more females under the age of 40 now needing liver transplants than pre-COVID from
Wow,
alcohol.
that's a stat I didn't know. But okay, so help me understand the pancreas enzyme. I've never heard that. I've heard of other
Yeah.
issues. So I
So
don't
my my
medically, what is that?
my theory is that the COVID injection, that those antibodies or whatever attacked his pancreas. He never had any pancreas issues prior to this.
I know, but
And
what does the pancreas do to
so
need?
it releases digestive enzymes that help digest your food. part of the
Right.
process to digest your food. So he was having bloating and discomfort and weird looking stools and going to the bathroom all the time. And I was like, dude, what is going on? Like he just kind of got used to it. That I was
Yeah.
like, this is not normal.
Yeah.
So that he finally went and got worked up. And they're like, oh, yeah, you have pancreatic insufficiency. I said, oh, really? He didn't have that before. He didn't have
See,
these symptoms before. He didn't have this stuff before. Um,
so
I
okay, so with pancreatic digestion issues, is that the pre to catching it before cancer, or is it two
so
different lanes?
it's two different lanes.
Okay.
Like people with cystic fibrosis often have pancreatic insufficiency. People with, it can be genetic. So that's why I said, I'm like, are they going to do genetic testing? There are people that have cystic fibrosis that don't have issues with their lungs, but just with their pancreas. But he had none of this
Wow. I'm
before that.
learning today. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because
And
I was going like I know like people that I've known who had pancreatic cancer, like one day they're fine, one day they're not. Like it and I'm like, how does it start that fast? Right? But then here you're saying, like, okay, so you got a shot of toxins, boom, it's done. It's like but then I say, because of this is where my brain goes, um, energetically, what does the pancreas mean in your body? Because lungs is life force, right?
right.
You start getting pneumonias, you start getting colds, you are having problems living life to the fullest. So we're going to shut you down so you can't lose your lungs. But I've never had anyone with pancreas.
You should look that up.
I know. I'm trying to think what I have really close. Like,
Yeah.
so I can
Yeah.
look it
That
up.
would be interesting to know. Because I know, like, what with your lower back, that's oftentimes associated with money.
Yeah.
And he gets a lot of lower back pain. And I was telling him, like,
Well, now, because he has to pay $1,500 and your daughter's been using $3,000 on his credit card to eat.
well, and then the whole, so talk about, so I told him, I said, this is with insurance, $1,500. I said, ask your doctor if there's a program, if there, nobody wants to help. He asked at the pharmacy, nothing. I said, let me call the manufacturer. I said, this is what I do for some of my clients. I
Yeah.
called the manufacturer. We paid $30 the first month. It's now zero a month. But no doctor was going to help with that. No pharmacist was going to help with that. I had to, I said, let me see what I can do to help you. I said, this is ridiculous. Because he was going back and forth to the pharmacy. They're just giving the runaround. He goes, you realize I cannot eat if I don't have these enzymes. This is a big deal. And they're just like, oh, well, I remember back in the day when a pharmacist would actually help you.
Or a
And
doctor would actually help.
yeah, yeah. Now it's just like, oh, nope, sorry. Too bad, so sad.
So this is okay. So the inflammation of how the pancreas disrupts the body's ability to produce digestive enzymes and blood sugars. We know that. But
Uh-huh.
energetically, it's the spiritual is the concepts of the sweetness of life. And the specific case, a link between high caffeine energy drinks and acute painful pancreatic flares.
Yeah, he doesn't drink energy drinks.
No, no, but it's the sweetness of life. It's the same as diabetes, which affects the pancreas,
Right.
right?
Yeah, no,
Because
I've been making him check his sugars. His sugars are good.
no, I know, but it's just in general, whoever's
Yeah,
listening, if you
yeah,
start noticing flares in your sugars or like if you have that ice cream or that chocolate bar and you're going, eh, you're eating the sugar rather than enjoying the moment. Yeah. Interesting.
yeah, yeah.
Well, because I've always thought about Patrick Swayze in this because I was like, why would he have pancreatic cancer? And then someone said he smoked. I go, that doesn't, and then I go, well, that's okay. But
Yeah.
right? Because he did live the life. Like that's one of the things like as I look to a strong rail male role model was he could do the bar and kick everyone up, or he could
Right.
do the dance and just go
Right.
with life, right? He had that feminine and masculine perfectly,
Yeah.
you know?
Yes, he
Yeah.
did.
So, no, it's interesting. It's very
And I
interesting.
don't remember. I mean, obviously your pancreas can be affected if you're a heavy drinker too, but I don't remember that being anything that was. I mean, obviously we don't know.
We don't
Um,
know, but I
but
don't care if he drank, smoked, did drugs, like
yeah,
whatever.
no.
That's his life.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I just thought how interesting,
Yeah.
right? Because society says if you're overweight, well, you're unhealthy. If you're skinny, you're fine. And I'm like,
Which is not true.
it's
Yeah.
not true. Because my heaviest, I was the most healthy.
Yeah.
It's as I've lost the weight that it's like more things are popping up. And I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Should I just start eating again? Because I was healthy then. I know, not true.
But
But
you know,
anyways,
our food. If you pay attention, I was listening to this gentleman yesterday who was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease at 27 years old, and he's now like 52.
mm,
And you know, initially he was in denial. Of course, he didn't even tell his wife for like 3 months. And for like the next 8 years, he pretty much ignored it until it was like in his face.
yeah.
So then he started just paying attention to what he ate, how that made his body feel. Started moving his body, exercising. So at the age of 51, he won a world record from doing 51 burpees in a minute. But just it found that, you know, not only is medication, but I have dystonia, so I've got a movement disorder myself, which came on when I was in a very stressful time in my life, which is interesting because it's not an autoimmune, but that was kind of the trigger for
So
that for
you
me.
can't move?
I have deep brain stimulation
No, but
so that I can move.
so does your body get stiff?
Yeah. It started out in my right hand. I couldn't write. I was in nursing school and I started having trouble writing and I thought it was carpal tunnel. And I was
Yeah.
like, I've got to get single mom, 2 kids. I've got to get through nursing school no matter what. So I taught myself how to write left handed, which my doctor was amazed that I was able to do. And then, you know, went to get checked out, wasn't carpal tunnel. Doctors telling me it was all in my head and this and that. Took about a good 20 years before I got the right diagnosis. And by then it had traveled my neck, my shoulders. I was wearing my shoes out from the top. My toes would flare because it just sends constant signals to your body to contract your muscles. So it hurts. A lot of people's
So
Parkinson's also get dystonia.
is that considered the stiffness disease? Like
It, it,
what Celine Dion had?
oh, I don't know.
Yeah, she literally like after her
I
husband passed, she literally just got
like froze
stiff
up.
as a board. She
Yeah,
couldn't sing,
I
she
don't
couldn't
know.
walk, she couldn't do
I
anything. But
remember hearing
now,
about that, but I don't know what she had. Mine was
interesting.
definitely dystonia. Um, so I've had Botox injections in my different muscles for the past 15 years, every 12 weeks. But then I had deep brain stimulation in December of 2018, and that has been life changing. Because prior to that, I, you know, went through this like I couldn't. I was a flight nurse. I was on the IV team. Well, then my hand stopped working. You
Yeah.
can't do these things if your hands don't work. But there was a woman who was the VP of a hospice I was working at that just like took me under her wing. She's like, you know what? You don't have the dexterity, but you've got the knowledge. So she totally groomed me into being a supervisor and then a manager. And like saying earlier about sometimes you don't
Wow.
understand why you're going through a journey. And now, as a small business owner myself, and the people that I work with, I understand that was my lesson to get me here. But it was during
That's
a big,
fascinating.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I've got
Well,
wires that run down my neck. I've got a battery here in my chest that I charge 3 times a week. Um, and that's what
how
keeps
do you
me going.
charge it if it's in your chest?
It's got like a plate that's like a wireless charger that I just lay back.
Oh,
It takes like 20 minutes or so to charge it up. I do it like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I have to be on structure, so I don't, I just do it.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, and it cuts off those signals. So I don't have these constant signals. My right hand is still an issue. So I still have to get Botox in my right arm and forearm like every 12 weeks from a
That's
neurologist.
holy cow. Because I remember when I was going for something, and the nurse came and she was trying to get the IV in or whatever, and I said, "Okay, I'm a tough one, right?" And I said, like, they run, they hide, they do whatever. And she goes, okay. And then, like, another nurse goes, and your break is now. So, and I go, you are so good at that. And she goes, good at what? And I go, you knew she couldn't do it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And she just smiled, right? Because I appreciate when you go to give blood and I say, no, butterfly through the hand. I'm not trying to
Listen
tell,
to the
yeah,
patient.
I'm not telling you what to do, but I don't want to pass out,
Yeah.
right? And then someone else comes in. Oh, so you're a toughie, eh? You're a toughie. But and it was funny because the last lady said to me, "Oh, tell your doctor you're no more a faster." And I said, "Why?" Because you're a toughie, right? The fasting shrinks your veins down. And then I go, don't say I don't drink enough water. I've already had 1.5 liters today. And she's like, it's only 7 o'clock. I go, yes, I know. And she goes, but more importantly, you have to work out before you come. Working out gets them expanded and we'll get it every time. And I go, I can work out before I come. Okay.
Does that help?
I haven't gone yet.
Oh, yeah, I bet it will.
Yeah. And I'm like, I used
Makes
to
sense.
pass out. I used to walk into the one place and they go to your room. Okay. And I'd go to the back room. They'd put heating pads on me. They'd take it from my feet because I couldn't get blood,
Yeah. Wow.
right? Not that I didn't have blood, not that it
Yeah.
was like due to an illness or nope, my veins say, nope, this blood's staying in this body.
Yeah.
And that was when the sheet had everything but five not ticked, right? Now I have five that are ticked. Perfect.
Right.
Like that's one vial. I'm out of there.
That's easy. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
still not easy on my veins.
Yeah. And because when I worked in the ER, I would start 20, 30 IVs a day. I mean, you can't help but get good at it when you're just doing that like a machine.
Hmm.
You know
But
what I
there's
mean?
lots of people in the yard that are not good at it.
Yeah.
And they try and yeah, but it's just yeah.
Skill.
Yeah.
You know what
It
I
is a
mean?
skill and
Yeah.
it's just like helping people with dementia or whatever ailment someone has, right? Because I was hesitant to take the job to help seniors with dementia, but my circle of influence are like, of course you have to take that job. I'm like, why? You're born for them. I'm like, no, I'm not. And they go, yeah, you are.
Yeah.
And I went, huh. So my first client didn't go off so well. Um, and then I wanted more information with her. And then I got a different client and I'm like, okay, I can handle this. And then I just started going, whatever, I'm just going to talk to you. You don't care. Like, whatever you answer back, I'll answer something. Like, and then we got along famously. And then we'd walk halls. Like,
Yeah. They like to walk.
yeah.
some of them, the ones that can.
Yeah. And then it would be like I'm walking with one and then they'll say, "Oh, that's my friend." I go, "Well, do you want to walk with us?" Okay,
Yeah.
right? Like I don't care,
Right.
you
Right.
know. But I do get
I'll get it.
testy with them sometimes because they're like, "I want to sit down." I go, "No, you said you wanted to walk." Well, I don't want to anymore. Too bad, we're walking. Like, come on.
How
But
many
it's
days
just
a week
like,
do you
well,
do that?
I haven't done it at all this year. I don't know. I guess I'm
Oh,
shifting out of it, so whatever. But it's just like when I used to drive school bus, right? And the principal came out and he said, "I just want to say thank you." I go, "For what?" He goes, "I've never had to come to your bus." And I go, "Why would you have to come to my bus?" He goes, "I always have to go and speak to the kids on people's buses." And I go, they don't know how to do their job, do they? And he said, "Thank you," right? And then I remember I had switched to coach and I went out to this place where they had band camp and it just snowed, right? So I got this little lane to bring this 45-foot bus in. And they said they plowed it. I said, for a car. Like I'm plowing it as the bus is going. And then I'm going and I get up to get the kids and the principal, he had moved schools. He goes, "Hi." And I'm like, "Oh, thank God you're here." He goes, "Because we can't back a bus up by ourselves. We're not allowed to,
oh,
right?" And so he goes, "Come, I'll help you." I go, "Thank you." Right? Because I'm not letting the guy that plowed this lane to fit this
check
bus
me
through,
out.
right?
Yeah.
Like we can't push a bus out.
Clearly, you've got a problem with
Yeah,
dementia.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, so it was funny. And I was like, "Oh, thank you for coming to help me." But then on the other hand, it was like 4 years. He never came out to my bus, and I couldn't believe that they would have to go to other buses.
To like tell the kids to be good or
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
oh,
and then it was funny because I had this one family, like she was so sweet. She'd always meet me at the bus with presents and gifts and
no.
whatever. And she texts me one day and she goes, "The kids are bickering at each other that you weren't supposed to eat on the bus, but I know you let them eat on the bus." And I said, "Oh, I'll tell you why. It was a brand new bus. Excuse me. It was a brand new bus. It was for one run." And I said, "Please don't eat on it because I don't want to clean it." Right? So the older sister's giving the younger sister heck for eating, and then they're bickering as they come into the house. And the mom's like, "What?" And so I had to tell her, "No, it's just me. I didn't want to clean it. It's a brand new
Yeah,
bus. Like, just
just
come off
one
the
time.
factory." Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Like our bus, the one that I got to clean, I don't care. Eat all you want. The brand new bus, it's never been had a footprint on it. No.
yeah. That's not even.
Yeah. But she ate over her backpack. So no crumbs would go on the floor.
At
But
least she
it's
was
just
courteous
it was
about it.
cute though, right? It's meeting people whether they're 5 or 85 where they're at. And we have to be more aware our food isn't what it used to be, right? That's why so many people have ALS and MS and all these things,
Yep.
right? But I look at it as a different way of energetically. Are you praying over your food? This is not about a church. It's not about anything. You pray of great gratefulness and thank yous for every person who had a piece in the seed, the soil, the water, the everything to get this meal on the table for you.
Yeah. I mean, it literally takes, we're seeing that with the oil issues now too, right? People aren't going to be able to get food, fertilizer. I mean, all of the things that we just don't think about. We just open the fridge and the food's there.
Yeah. Well, and um, so I know quite a few farmers, and they're saying like a bull calf maybe even 10 years ago. It wasn't that long. Maybe 10, 15 years ago would, sell for 95 bucks, 100 bucks. the same bull calf now because, well, in Canada, our farms are down 40% of what they used to be, right? A bull calf now, you're looking at five to 600 bucks because there's not enough cows out there, not enough ranchers
I am
out
the
there
man.
anymore,
Yep. Yep.
right? We went through 9 years of we couldn't feed them or water them because of the droughts. So we'd be shipping it out from Ontario, all the hay and stuff, right? A lot of them just packed up. We can't do this anymore, right? Now we're getting the moisture, we're getting, then no one has farms, right? Like, yeah. And so, and even this year, like supposedly we're kind of out of the drought, but because we've had so much damage from floods and stuff, we have a water ban for the next 2 years, trying to fix all the underground piping. So, like it was New Year's Eve, and the main water main burst
Uh,
again because other government officials didn't do anything about it. So the new one says no watering, right?
how's that going to work?
Well, it's still winter. Like I haven't even seen people cleaning up the yards yet. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
so normally people would be starting to plant, but I'm gonna walk around every day and see who plants this year.
Do you plant?
No,
No.
I have
Yeah,
a
we
green
don't
thumb
usually
for
do.
one plant.
Yeah.
It's a money jade, and and I've grown it from a little sprig to 85, 90 pounds, and I chop it
Wow.
down, take a sprig, grow it, chop it down, and as I said, okay, I'm chopping. Who wants a sprig? And then I get the takers who wants a sprig. Chop, chop, chop. Yeah. So it's just yeah, it just keeps growing and growing. And I got it from my sister's friend. I said, "What kind of plant is that?" And she goes, "It's a money plant." And I go, "Ooh, maybe I could grow that." And she chopped it right there. I go, "How do you know if it's gonna grow? Stick it in dirt, and if it grows, it grows. If it doesn't, it's not for you." And it
Really?
grew. Yeah,
I never heard of that. What does it look like?
just thick rubber, well, like thick green leaves.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because I said
Looks,
I'm not a green thumb. I don't know anything about plants, right? And
yeah.
so I said, "Well, how long do I leave it in the dirt before I know?" And she goes, "Well, give it a few weeks or whatever." And then all of a sudden I saw in between the thing, there's two little leaves coming. I'm like, "Yeah, it took like, and it needs
Well, they're
sun and it needs water once a month. Awesome, perfect." Yeah,
low maintenance.
yeah. And I talked to it because I'm like, "Okay, baby, need a little money this month."
Does it work?
Yeah,
Do you need to rub it?
yeah, no,
Yeah.
no. Just it just shows like the abundance, the abundance, the abundance. Yeah.
What
Oh,
if
and
those
even
issues?
even the one plant I actually gave to a friend to take to a school,
Uh-huh.
and his staff all said to send me messages of thank you because they all took sprigs of the one he took to the school. Right?
I'll have to look that up. Money jade.
Yeah.
Is it a
It's not a
Canadian
pretty
plant?
plant. It's just
Yeah.
a has a stick with some green leaves, like thick, rubbery looking leaves.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But I can grow it. So I figure everyone else can. But if you do get it, less water is more.
Okay.
Don't
Kind
overwater it, it'll rot.
of, okay. Like a succulent or something. Just
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. I would think it's in the succulent family.
Yeah. Kind of sounds like it from what you're saying. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just like just simple.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
we've
better.
gone all over the map,
We
but I figured we'd do that because that's just who we are. How do people get a hold of you? If
uh,
to learn more, to understand
sure.
more.
Yeah. My website, KimberlyDiazRN.com. That's the
Okay.
best way to look me up. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram. I have a YouTube channel.
Okay.
So and it's all under Kimberly Diaz RN.
And I will have all the stuff in the show notes. So if you didn't catch it as she said it. We'll catch it in the show notes. And what do you want to leave the audience with as we close out?
Um, I what I want to leave them with is to remember to be kind to yourself, and because your body's listening,
Mm-hmm.
have compassion, give yourself grace. This is a crazy world right now. We're all doing the best that we can.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what? Every day is not going to be perfect. Every moment's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. And just get up and keep doing what you want to keep doing, and just, yeah, give yourself grace. That's I have to remind myself of that a lot of times. It's easy to beat yourself up,
Mm-hmm.
but you've
Well,
got to be kind to yourself.
and I so second that because we we have been chosen to be here at this time,
Yeah.
and we have made it through the hardest part, but we still got to keep taking our light and shining it as bright as possible.
Unto others, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's my biggest focus of this show is sharing people like you and the knowledge to help others who are going through this crazy life, that they're not alone.
Yeah.
There's other people in the pool or wherever. Together we will make it. And you
And
know,
we're all connected. We really are. And, sometimes it's just a matter of closing your eyes and taking that deep breath and just
yeah,
feeling somebody from, they don't have to be right here. They could be across the country. They can be in another country, and sending your
yeah,
love and sending that light.
yeah. Beautiful. Another authentic conversation. I'm your host, Adele Bernard. Today, our guest was Kimberly Diaz,
Thank you.
and we'll close it out. I just want to do a quick recap with Kimberly Diaz and our conversation today. There's so many questions to ask when you think about care for the elderly, or they don't even have to be elderly anymore. It's just that next step of care. And, is it better to keep them at home? Is it not? Are you putting them in the right care facility? Do you need an advocate like Kimberly to do the brokering of the deal, to help in the understanding of this care? There's so much to know and understand, and we're all in it together. We all either have kids that we're looking after, or parents we're looking after, or spouses. Like, someone is always needing care. And when you get resources like a Kimberly that can help you walk through that passage, you feel more equipped to answer the questions that people are asking you. And I think in the long run, it is to your benefit to ask the questions, to get the knowledge, to understand more before you just go, well, mom or dad, you're moving in. So, um, yeah, I just want to say thank you to Kimberly for coming on the show. And once again, if you're interested in Transition Clarity, my other company, to the podcast, and you're in that choice point, well, the choice point, do we put mom or dad into care? Or, do we bring in extra assistance because you need help? Um, I'd love to take you on the journey to where you want to go, right? Um, we're all in that time of, is this all life has to offer? And I say no. Life is abundant, it's beautiful, It's time to shine your light like you never have. And if you're looking for clarity in that transition, book a call with me. It's free. Everything will be in the show notes. I thank you for listening. Please subscribe, like, and share. And if you know of a person who would be a great guest, maybe it's you, book a call. Let's have a chat. Whether we do a journey together or you're on the podcast, let's talk. Thanks for listening. Until next time, have a good day.